Thank you so much, Dr. Brooks. We're going to move along to our next speaker, who is a young man, very, very much an asset to this community. And I'm talking about Trevor Small, who owns, let me see if I get this right, Trevor. Is it Simplified Management Products?
Yes.
Okay, well, you're up. It's your time to tell us about what you've been doing for our local business community. And I want to publicly thank and commend you for your efforts. It has just been tremendously gratifying to watch you work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Trevor Small, as you mentioned. I'm the managing partner of Simplified Management Products. We are also a local business, as well as we have an office in Montgomery County, as well as in Atlanta. Um, what we do,
Trevor, you're breaking up pretty bad. In fact, you're very distorted.
provide consulting and accounting services to small and mid-sized business, financial accounting.
Trevor, somehow the technology Grinches don't like you tonight.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Just wonder if you can maintain that clarity, though.
So I've been working with the Chamber and the Macon County Economic Development Committee on helping some local businesses try to get applied for some of the SBA funding that's out there. And I've been doing this now, well, pretty much since the pandemic started, either consulting with the SBA, speaking with the SBDC, and just talking to other business owners. So the biggest thing that I've seen as far as a challenge is just getting access to the information that the business owners need in order to apply for some of this funding. And the biggest thing is that, I mean, just in our community, we have a lot of, cash economy people who like to try to fly under the radar. But when something like this happens, there needs to be certain things in place that you have in the business in order to apply for some of this funding. So some of the local businesses, they either didn't know or don't have this information. And what I've been doing is communicating with them, trying to guide them, one, into getting this information if they don't have it, or two, helping them build it if they don't have it. I did speak with probably 15 to 20 business owners that are in the community. Some of them are on this call, and I've either walked them through either a process or a problem that they weren't sure about, all the way to the point of directing them to a particular financial institution that can help them get the lending that they need. So this effort, as far as this joint venture with these two entities and then consulting people that are in the community to help, has been very, very insightful as far as seeing, one, what Macon County needs as far as from a business perspective, and then two, there are other components that I've realized, okay, we need to kind of make sure to touch on as we continue. So if there are any questions, I know we kind of run a long time, but if there are any questions in particular as it relates to the PPP Paycheck Protection Program or the EIDL, I'm more than welcome to answer any. If you all have applied or thinking about applying, please fire off.
Any questions for Trevor? Well, Trevor, I guess you covered all the bases. We do have a couple of questions. Charlie Hardy has a question for Irving McConnell. Charlie, you can unmute your mic. Charlie, are you still on?
I'm here, Irvin.
Hey, Charlie. Hey, how are you?
Yes. Yeah, I sent you a note.
Yep, got it. Yep.
And but basically, since I'm on, I want to commend you and thank you for your long commitment,
Thank you.
community over the years. And you and I agree the fact that it's going to take a town gown marriage to really make this work the way it needs to be. We got to become a college town as opposed to a town with a college in it.
Right.
And a lot of the resources can be collaboratively shared. and you're the right person to be in the mix to make this happen. So we're all in. I just want to thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah.
I have a question for Trevor. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Trevor, Dr.
Yeah.
Harrington from the Carver Festival. What is your deadline date for making these applications?
Well, I've
Do you have a
gotten 3
deadline?
in today. Well, I've gotten 3 in today. I should have 2 more submitted tomorrow. So as long as the bank is accepting them, we're sending them. The one thing that I am also waiting on is the EIDL advanced application to be reopened, because right now it's not. So as far as the guys that I got on the call this morning from the SBA, was they're going through the EIDL applications that have already been submitted and funding those first. And then once they get through that, then that's when they'll open it up to new applicants. So
Thank you.
for those of you who have already applied for the EIDL and you're wondering, hey, I haven't heard anything, I don't know where I am, should I reapply?
All right, Trevor, you sound like you're
Not reapply.
you sound
At this
really
point, you just have
strange.
to kind of be patient and just kind of wait until the government.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dolores Alexander, do you want to ask your question now?
Really?
Trevor, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dolores, are you still on the call? Okay.
I am.
Okay.
I am. Mr. Tennant answered the phone. My question was about the census and the fact that lots of people from Macon County who applied never got hired, never heard back. So he says he's going to work on it. So he did respond to my question. Thank you very much.
All right. Are there any other questions that have not been answered as yet?
Can I just get Trevor to repeat his answer to Dr. Harrington's question just for clarity purposes?
I think it's his equipment. I think Trevor is with us on his phone, but Trevor, do you think you could answer?
Yes.
Okay, that is a lot clearer.
Okay. Yes, so if you apply for the EIDL, and you're one of those people wondering why haven't you received any communication, it's just that the SBA is very backed up, and they're asking us as consultants and other partnering organizations to urge all the people who have applied to have just some patience, because you're talking about an entity that's normally doing a certain millions of dollars in loans to pivoting to doing billions of dollars in a very short period of time. So infrastructure was not there in order to accommodate a lot of this. So we're asking that if you have applied, please continue to be patient. If you have not applied, start preparing the documents that you need to apply. So you would ask, how do I start to prepare if I don't even know where to start? The first place, you want to ask them, hey, what do you need to do in order to get into the queue for the PPP process? And they'll send you the documents that you need to gather. And then once you gather that, now you're one step ahead. So once they do open up for new applicants, you will have everything you need in order to apply.
Yeah, but one of the reasons that the joint venture between MCEDA and the chamber, one of the necessities was going through that paperwork is not easy. It's like doing taxes. And so, Trevor, you have been helping people you've been guiding them through that process so that they don't make a whole bunch of mistakes that wind up costing them money. So even though you've given us that explanation, I hope people understand that it is just not a simple process. And we do have another question for you, Trevor, and that is whether you know what banks are participating and whether you know the percentage of Black-owned businesses that have received PPP in our area or in Alabama. Trevor?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can now. Did you get the question?
Yes, I did.
Do you know what banks are participating locally?
So in this round, it appears that all the banks are participating. It just depends on if they're still lending. So some of the banks have cut off accepting any more application because they said the process just was too rigorous. Some banks have said, okay, they want to jump on board and start lending. So Intuit has become one of the new providers. They're what they call an express SBA provider. Square is also an express SBA provider. And there was one more that they released. So every day and every time that this thing has come out, you either had a bank that dropped off or a bank that added. So there's not necessarily a master list that you can find. The best way is just to determine whoever you have the best banking relationship with, that's who you would decide to do this program with.
But you've taken some of our businesses to banks that you have solid relationships with to expedite that process for those that you're working with, and I want to thank you for that.
You're welcome.